Hello everybody, Raven Knight here. Guys, we did it. We've reached year 9 of For Honor. And you know, it feels so good to get here. It feels so good that we're actually entering year 9, especially when over the years you've had a lot of doubters and naysayers saying, the game's dying. It won't last. Can it just die already? We've had a lot of that, and y'all may have noticed that. But I'm so glad to see that the game has lasted this long and is now going into its 9th year of life. That's something to really celebrate. And to celebrate that, we had a Warriors Den today that just released, showing us what Year 9 Season 1 Ascend has to offer. Really had a great time. Thank you to all of you who showed up to watch that with me. It was a wonderful time. I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys had fun too. I know I certainly did. We learned so much about what's coming, and you know what? The title of the new season really fits because For Honor has ascended. This is a really, really good season, and there was a lot going on in it. But you know what? I get it. Some of you guys couldn't make it to watch the Warriors Den, or some of you had to leave early or you showed up late. I get it. Life happens, and some people just don't have the patience to sit down for a 2 or 3 hour stream. I totally understand. So for those of you who either missed the stream or couldn't catch all of it, welcome. My name is Raven Knight, and I'm here to summarize what was said in the Warriors Den so that you guys can get all caught up and be ready for what's coming in Year 9, Season 1, coming out March 13th. I'm going to say that again, March 13th. Let's do that a third time. March 13th, so you all know that in 1 week, we are getting a brand new season and year of For Honor on March 13th, the 4th time. So, what's coming? Well, let's get right into the good stuff. So, first of all, what you need to know is that the season is called Ascend, and the lore has been updated. And the first thing they want you to know about the lore is they're answering the question everyone's been asking. Last time we left For Honor's lore, Gul'Jin and the Hatoons have invaded Heathmore, and they made a big name for themselves and really came in with a bang by defeating Horkos, capturing Astria, and defeating a lot of her lieutenants and capturing them as well. So now everyone's been asking, well, what happened to Astria? Did they kill her? Did they execute her? Did they exile her? What have they done? The lore now has the answer. Apparently Gul'Jin captured Astria and imprisoned her along with a lot of her other chiefs. And now Gul'Jin has gone all over Heathmore and has started trying to either capture points or capture territory or conquer people, and some folks are still fighting her. Some folks have surrendered out of fear. Others have said, you know what, we want to side with you because we agree with your idea of peace. The whole world of Heathmore has been shaken up. With Horkos gone, that unifying presence gone, Heathmore is back into a huge civil war with itself, and Gul'Jin is in the process of gathering what she can and beginning her conquest. But she needs to do something with Astria and her prisoners. She's got to do something, so she decides she's going to do something kind of creative. She is going to host a series of gladiatorial matches, basically a way to give the prisoners a chance to actually entertain her new followers and new people, and also a way to hopefully get rid of some of them by having them die in these matches. So what she's done is she's doing a 2 versus 2 versus 2 scenario, a battle of 3 teams of 2 in the gladiatorial arena, which is a revamped, remodeled version of the Pit, which is the Viking dueling map that you guys are so familiar with. It looks really neat, really awesome. It looks more like a gladiatorial arena now. And Astria is going to be one of the ones featured in that fight. She's going to be one of the ones featured in the gladiatorial games. But since this is a 2v2v2 scenario, she needs a teammate. She needs a partner. So enter the new gladiator hero skin, Calliope. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I know that they call her Calliope or Calliope or something. I call her Calliope because that's how I've always pronounced that name. If I get it wrong and y'all are going to say, it's not Calliope, it's Calliope, sorry, okay, I'm just going to keep calling it Calliope because it's just easier for me. Roast me in the comments if you want. I don't care. Like, I'm going to call it what I'm used to. So, Calliope. Anyway, so Calliope is the new gladiator hero skin. She was once a queen of her own small nation, but she was also conquered by Gul'Jin and pretty much crushed, and she was imprisoned as well, and she wasn't going to do anything for Gul'Jin. She was defiant to the end. She was a queen and was always going to remain a queen. She wouldn't behave like a prisoner. She wouldn't suck up to Gul'Jin. She wouldn't give in. She was going to fight until the bitter end. But now she's teamed up with Astria, and apparently Astria might have said something to her to win her over a little bit, because Calliope's now willing to work with Astria and become the queen of the ring, as it were. She's actually willing to fight now and actually put her money where her mouth is and actually be a queen, not only on her throne, but also in an arena filled with prisoners. And There's something to be said for that. So now Astria and Calliope have teamed up to fight, and Gul'Jin isn't 100% happy about this. She was hoping that Astria and Calliope might get killed in these events, but it looks like they're actually doing pretty well, and it's very possible that they might be actually planning something, or, if nothing else, proving that they are still the dominant wolves of this arena, and Gul'Jin doesn't want them getting anything more than they've already had. The 3-part short story will be released with the new season, and I will read that and go over it and get more details, but that's pretty much what we've gotten for now. And as for the hero skin, it looks absolute fire. I love the way it looks. It's absolutely gorgeous. I think it looks phenomenal. I'm definitely going to get it. I cannot wait to get it. It looks amazing. And now that we have our answer to what's happened to Astria, people can stop asking me that in the comment section of, what happened to Astria? Now we know. Now we know what happened to Astria. But with this new lore comes a brand new limited time game mode. Remember how they said that this whole season was going to be focused on brawls? Well, this is a very unique Brawl setup. Much like the 1v1v1 match that we had in Year 8 Season 1, where you had 3 people playing and they were all trying to kill each other. This is just like that, only now you're fighting with a teammate. Could be a friend, could be a random, and your team is trying to win. And honestly, I think I like this a bit more because JC explained the big problem with 1v1v1 is that one team member didn't have to get involved. They could kind of hide and let the other 2 fight and then pick off the last one standing. This is a little bit harder. For one thing, the map is a lot smaller than in that other game mode, and because of that, you can't really run away as easily. Plus, with literally 6 players in the match, it's very hard to get away from everyone and avoid combat entirely, so you are kind of forced to get into the violence and get into the fight. So I really like that. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm very excited to get my hands on that new game mode. I think you are too. Now, people have already asked, will I be doing it with Havoc? Will I be doing it with Raptor Rex? Will I be doing it with other people? I'd love to. If they're willing to play with me and my garbage ass, I would not mind at all playing with them. But it does look really awesome and really fun. Can't wait to give it a shot. I really do hope that they, at the very least, bring this back as another regular game mode because this looks so fun. Don't bring us a really awesome game mode, then take it away, Ubisoft. Come on. Don't do that to us. But that's just one facet of what's coming this year. We're also getting a brand new battle pass along with some brand new weapons. The weapons actually look really good. Each one's kind of themed around gladiatorial, up close and personal matches or fights. The knights seem to go off of Roman or Greek style fighting. The Vikings seem to have some Norse sort of old runic sort of fights going on. The samurai and Wulin go back to their roots of art and styling of showing samurai or Chinese battlefields. And the Outlanders, I think, kind of got a mixture of all kinds of different kind of fight art on theirs, and it looks really, really neat. So definitely check those out. It's a really cool, they really cooked with the designs. I'm not going to lie. They really, really cooked with the designs, which I can really appreciate. So I'm very glad to see that. I'm very glad to see how they've been designing all that. Some bad news, though, while we're talking about designs, they only gave us knight armor updates, and I won't lie, they aren't much to talk about. They look fine. It's not like they look bad or anything, but again, they're just reskins. They're edited versions of the old skins. Now, the reason I think that they only did the knights is because with all the stuff they're trying to do and get done with quality of life improvements and all that, it's very hard for them to focus on doing reskins and armored setups for every single faction each season, so they might be having to limit that down again. And you know what? I get that. It's fine. I'm not upset about it, but I can understand the disappointment a lot of fans had, so I totally understand. Along with these changes in terms of game mode and lore and all this stuff that's coming along, there's some other stuff that we need to talk about as well, including but not limited to the quality of life updates that they've talked about. They are revamping the menu screen and how you can get from place to place, and you'll be able to see more of it when it actually comes out, but essentially they're adding a quick match tab, which you can click and it'll take you right into the last game mode that you've played most recently so that you can get right into it. You can now adjust the settings and details of any game mode you want from going to multiplayer. They've put story campaign mode alongside arcade mode if you really just want to play solo. They've done a lot to really revamp it and make it easier to get around and navigate the map a little bit. Speaking of the map, some people are worried that the map is gone. It's not gone. It will be in another tab of its own, but they wanted to make it more streamlined and simple for you to be able to get to where you need to. But other quality of life updates, some stuff y'all are really excited about, I'm sure, the stuff that everyone's been talking about and really excited about, is the fact that now we have 9 customization slots for each hero. You can now build 9 different customization slots per hero. However, there is a catch. They did add this catch. You only unlock further customization slots through repping up. That means if you have no reps on a hero, you are limited at 3. But once you rep up once, you get a 4th. Once you rep up again, you get a 2nd. Once you get to rep 7, you have all 9 unlocked, and then you can build 9 different builds. Further on to that, you now have access to priority placed material. What that means is instead of material just covering the entire body anymore, you can now choose where you want certain material colors to be. Either the head, the shoulders, the arms, the standards, the legs. Like, you can basically customize and turn your character into a rainbow by putting different material colors on different parts of the body. It is a way to really, really max out your customization, because let's face it, guys, For Honor is 1 part battle and 1 part fashion, and this is going to make a lot of the fashion fans very, very happy. So let's be real, this was awesome, and it's something that we've all been excited for. Now, I will say this, I don't remember if they mentioned it, but I think we've now gotten a new max out to rep 90 in the game, because I remember that was mentioned in the community corner, but I don't remember if the developers actually mentioned that we can now rep up to rep 90 maximum. But if that is the case, that is awesome, and I hope that that is something that's coming. If it's not coming this season, they did say that it would be coming sometime in year 9, so look forward to being able to rep up your characters to rep 90. So very much looking forward to that, but that's pretty much it with quality of life updates. If you want more quality of life update information, you can go to the website and look it up there, but that's all that I could basically remember. Next up are our patch notes. I want to talk about the patch notes briefly because I want to stay positive, guys. We'll get to the testing grounds later. For positive patch notes, Sohei and Aramusha got buffed. Sohei now is able to go into any of his soul weapon attacks from any of his light or heavy attacks. So that means if he throws a heavy, he can throw a light soul weapon. If he throws a light, he can throw a heavy soul weapon, and that includes from dodge lights and dodge heavies. So that means he can more easily go into his soul attacks and soul abilities, making him a little bit more useful. So a lot of people are very excited about that if they enjoy Sohei, and it's going to make Sohei a lot more fun to play. They've also made it that his zone attack can now be flowed into a second zone attack rather than just doing a zone and then a heavy or a light, so allowing him a little bit more free flow capability. Also, they've made it so that his heavy soul attacks now are 1 frame faster, so that way they can more easily get access to their flow, and their guard break opportunity from a zone is a little bit slower now, so that means that they can't just free flow and constantly guard break over and over and over again. They're trying to make Sohei a little bit more useful and more viable, and I think they're doing a good job. As for Aramusha, the major changes with Aramusha is they're changing the trajectory of his attack so that they look a little bit more natural, like they're supposed to be. They're increasing the range of his Ring the Bell, as well as the range of some of his other attacks. They're also making his finisher heavy attacks unblockable. Now, what is a finisher heavy for Aramusha? Aramusha can do an infinite chain as long as he attacks from a different direction, but if he ever does a heavy from the same direction he did previously, it becomes a finisher heavy. That means that his combo finishes, and that makes a finisher heavy unblockable. Now, why did they change this? Because let's be honest, that finisher heavy is so slow, you have no choice but to do a soft feint into a light from another direction. There was basically no threat from that heavy, so making it unblockable now makes it a bit more of a threat. They've also allowed him to go into his soft feints from his zone attack 2nd tier, so they're basically making Aramusha a lot more viable, a lot stronger, and so if you're a big Aramusha fan, you're going to enjoy those changes. They did nerf Pirate, but not very much. They've made it so that if Pirate does her Gun Blast bash, which is basically where she does a heavy or a light and then does a gun bash right after, she cannot cancel the dodge. She cannot do a dodge cancel into a spinning attack. That's the only thing they changed, but it is a major change because it means that Pirate just can't keep spamming dodge heavy, dodge heavy, dodge heavy, dodge heavy over and over and over and over again. I would like to see some more patch notes, but for this, it's pretty good. And JC explained very well that, we'd love to do more patch updates, we'd love to do more stuff, but we know that it's probably a better idea to go slowly with minor updates, and thus we can fix things as we go along rather than dropping everything at once and everything gets thrown out of whack. I understand his reasoning 100%. But that's it for patch notes. Now, let's talk about the testing grounds. There is a testing grounds coming. They said that the Peacekeeper changes, they're having to go back to the drawing board a little bit on that, so don't expect any of that coming live. But for this testing ground, they are looking at one more hero in terms of their feat, and that is Berserker. They wanted to change Berserker's feats to match basically Berserker's trading blows kind of play style. So, how did they do it? In some areas, I like what they wanted to do. I get the idea of wanting to adjust the feats to match his playstyle. That makes total sense to me. What I think they failed at was they they overcooked it, I think is the best way I can say it. His feats are pretty simple. Feat number one, his new feat number one would basically be his axe throwing feat, which does 15 damage. And it has a 60-second cooldown. However, each time they take damage, it reduces by 5 seconds. So that means that they can more easily get access to their axe throw. The second feat allows them to basically gain an attack buff of 20% each time they take damage. So each time they take damage, they're able to get an attack buff. So they can continue trading damage and just keep feeding onto that. The third feat allows you to gain infinite stamina and all your attacks are enhanced for 30 seconds with a 60-second cooldown. And it was at that point that I started to think, okay, we might have gone too far. And then finally, tier 4, no, I'm not even kidding about this, once activated, makes it so that you cannot lose health past 1 point, making you essentially death-proof unless you're ledged or something, for 20 seconds. Okay, so I'm going to be real. I understand the direction they were trying to go. They're trying to make it good for Berserker to trade blows. The problem I see with this is it's a little too much. I think that they gave Berserker a little too much here. It seems a little too far-fetched in my opinion. Now, if you disagree with me, you're free to disagree. I'm not an expert on balancing and stuff like that. But knowing how Berserker plays and how oppressive and difficult they can be to deal with all their hyper armor and all their enhanced attacks and just the difficulty of dealing with a competent Berserker, all of this together is going to make Berserkers almost unbeatable, especially once they get access to the fourth feat, which will make them, quite frankly, unkillable. They can last for 20 seconds for sure without dying unless ledged. They will have all enhanced attacks at tier 3 and no stamina drainage, because that was one of the things that was difficult about Berserker when it came to, changing direction of attacks into enhanced and, uninterruptible lights. It was stamina draining, but now they have permanent infinite stamina for 30 seconds with a 60-second cooldown. In my opinion, and again, this is my opinion, so please don't attack me in the comment section, I think this was a bit too much. I think that they gave a little bit too much to Berserker in this, and so I would, at the very least, tone down the timings a little bit, or at least increase the cooldown timings. I don't know, man. I feel like this is a bit much for what could have been done with Berserker, but that is just me. That's coming from a person who struggles against fighting Berserker, and just understanding the way Berserker fights, I think this is a bit much. I think they overcooked this in a big way, so I'm not as fond of this. But with all that out of the way and all of that said, that's the only negative I can think of from this. It's the only thing I wasn't too happy about. I'm a little disappointed that they didn't at least shout out the introducing For Honor Factions videos that I did, because, hey, I thought maybe they might give me a shout out on that since it was a partnered up thing, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. I'm glad that I got to be involved in that anyway, and I want to thank you guys once more for coming to watch The Warriors Den with me. I want to thank Ubisoft for giving me the opportunity to work with them for a brief period, and also for continuing to keep this game alive for a 9th year. Man, it really does feel like this game is cooking. It feels like this game continues to be more and more fun. Every time I think that it can't get better, it continues to get better. Even in the moments that I'm not really fond of, like this new testing grounds coming up, I can still look at it and say, well, it's annoying, but I'm sure that something good will come out of it anyway. If people don't like it, then the community will say so. If people do like it, the community will say so. So, hey, you know what? All in all, pretty good time. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope it answered all your questions. If you have more questions, hit me up in the comment section below, and there are going to be a lot of other content creators who make videos just like this one, so go check those out as well. So thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in my next video. Take care.
When you step into the arena, no longer are you prisoners. In here, in this time, you have an opportunity to rise anew. Champions will be made. But beware! Only 2 shall live. The crowd demands blood! Now! Fight for your life! what it takes?